periscoping and a hangout.
Yes, we are.
We're pollinating.
Yes, cross-pollination.
I have to give you lots of hearts right now.
Awesome. That is great. So we are demonstrating what you are teaching us.
Cool.
Well, I'm Korin Burnsed and Diamond, and we've got somebody super, 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 uber special on tonight. We've got Mr. John-Erik, and he is our Chief Adventure Officer with It Works, and, well, famous in many ways. So, what we would love to do is we kind of just want to ask you a couple questions and let you take the floor tonight.
Okay, cool.
Awesome.
Fire away. I like questions.
Yes, awesome, good. One thing I really wanted to share first and foremost was I had a big aha moment earlier tonight. Jasmine's gonna cry if she gets kicked off. Was when you messaged me after I shared that we were gonna have a team hangout tonight. Of course, first of all, my heart started racing. I thought I was gonna faint. It really gave me an aha moment that you were incredibly thoughtful. And all along you've been teaching us to be thoughtful, and it didn't really sink in until that moment after I sat there and just thought about how blessed we were as a team and how sometimes we feel like we are one in a million people, that you would reach out to me and say, hey, why don't I jump on? So I want to thank you so much, and I think I've learned quite a bit just from that one gesture.
Oh, well, that's nice.
So, all right, we are going to start with Jasmine because
Which one is
Jasmine.
Sierra?
What? Say that again.
Oh, Sierra. I can see that she was setting up Periscope in the background. And then
I don't have that many followers, but I'm multitasking here.
Well, that wasn't a question. That was a comment. You have a question?
Me first?
Well, no. You said you had questions, and then you just said that about thoughtfulness. And I think, the whole idea is just do you care about people or not? And I think the biggest thing for me is just the idea of if you can ask the one simple question of how can I help you, it might cost you a couple of things here and there, but ultimately I think it pays off, and it pays off in big ways. So so I think just asking somebody, how can I help you? And that's kind of my business plan is just simply help my friends and make new friends.
Thank you so much for blessing all of us. Very, very good.
I'm giving you lots of hearts right now.
Oh, thank you. So are you purple?
Oh, let me see. I'll just send you a rocket ship emoji. No, I'm pink. I'm pink.
Oh, he's pink tonight. Awesome. Perfect. All right. Well, do you recognize a couple of these girls? Jasmine is one of your biggest followers as well, and we want to let her start because she's got a horrible Wi-Fi connection, and we don't want her to get booted.
You mean hanging out?
When is this going to happen?
Oh my goodness. Well.
So, what is your question? She's muted right now, so I don't hear. You, me, see, hanging out. When's that going on?
Yeah, when are we hanging out? When is this happening?
That's your question?
That's my question.
Oh, I didn't know that was your question. I thought you had.
Yeah, that's my question.
I thought you're gonna waste your question on that.
I know. It's a good question. I have been trying. I was in Arizona and I couldn't even. There was so many people I couldn't even meet you. So this is like on my bucket list. This is on my dream board.
Wow.
I'm gonna call you off. Let me see your dream board.
Oh,
Somebody's taking pictures of this.
all right.
What? Where do you live?
Oh my gosh.
California.
Where in California?
Oh, she got kicked out.
Oh.
She got
lives
kicked out.
in San Francisco.
Oh, she's gonna cry. Next question.
She is.
I can answer that. She lives near San Francisco.
Oh, well, I go to San Francisco all the time.
She just messaged me. She said, "Ah," with this sad face. She's quite
All
depressed.
right. Well, what we're going to do is we're going to let Sierra take the floor and ask her question.
Okay.
Okay. First things first, your friend Dan, whatever his last name is, that you talked to on your Periscope,
Yeah.
he said hi, because I followed him on Periscope, and he followed me back, and he joined my broadcast.
Tell him I said hi and that he completes me.
And second thing is, I'm really curious as to, so I'm in love with Periscope just as much as you are.
Yeah.
Probably not just as much, but I'm getting there because I love to learn new things, and I also think Periscope is a complete game changer. But I'd like to know how we can use Periscope to help increase our business. How we can use it to, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So here's the thing is we don't live in the information age anymore. We live in the editorial age. So that means that you have to become an expert in something. Why would I want to watch? So like we even upgraded because my wife wanted to watch a certain show. So we upgraded our cable, and my son wanted to get the Japanese news. Because you're a nerd. I love you. Do you want to come in here? You guys want to see the It Works boy?
Yes.
Can you say hi in Japanese?
Konnichiwa. Watashi wa no namae wa Logan desu.
Awesome.
Move your head down.
You want to know something awesome?
Yeah.
I'm actually at the Army's language school. So the people here are designed to be fluent in Japanese in less than a year.
Cool.
So that's pretty cool. Anyway.
Okay, you can go back to playing your video game.
All right.
So it's about that you got to be an expert in something, or why else would I want to watch? So I was fascinated by all of these. I have all of these now channels, and there was nothing on TV. So if we're not careful, all that Periscope is going to be is a bunch of people on Periscope with nothing to watch. And so I think to do that, though, the big thing is content, but it's content plus engagement. So before, it was just the content world. What were you broadcasting about? And I think that's important, right? It's important that we do that. But the other side is also, I think, equally is, are you answering questions? Are you engaging? Do you care about the people that are watching? Because to me, it's more than just an audience, and it's more than just fans. It's that, hey, I have friends, and they're tuning in, and I want to make their life better because they make my life better. So I think there's two sides of that to grow your business. Number one, what I talked about is raising the water table and making sure you're interacting and making sure that you're really caring. But then I think you have to be an expert on something. For me, you know, it turns out that it happens to be translating, you know, technology into relationships, and that kind of became something that I stumbled upon. But you know what? I have lots of other stuff that I really like to talk about as well, and I might start doing that. I study anthropology, and that's like really nerdy, but I love to study the origins of holidays and why we as a culture do certain things and where certain words came from, and I might start doing some periscopes about that. So I think how you got to build your business is, are you going to focus in on relationships? Are you going to focus in on the freedom aspect? Are you going to focus in on, you know, what are different things? And so, so let me ask you then a couple of questions. Specifically, you said you're at an Army base.
I am.
So you're enlisted, or?
I am.
Okay. So right there, that's huge, okay? So I know that there's probably certain restrictions on what you can talk about and not talk about, but the fact is, I would brand and position myself is that here you are, you're enlisted, you are fighting for our freedom, but you're more than just fighting for our freedom. There's also, how do you balance that? How do you juggle that? I think there's so much that is there. I don't want to take up everybody's time just kind of interviewing on that, but I think you could come up with 3 to 5 different ideas of the kind of things that you would Periscope about, or that you would even just start to talk about, and I think people would then be pretty fascinated with that, because there's probably a ton. I mean, I know this from our, just our military, are just heroes of mine, along with, teachers, public servants. They're not paid enough. They need to be paid more. This is a way to do that. I think it's also a really interesting idea that they move around, and so you meet somebody and they get to go somewhere else, and now they get a whole new thing. I know I had a really good friend who's a Marine, and didn't have enough money to have his wife and family stay with them, and it was just a real struggle. And I know that she started a blog about that, and a whole blog just about being an Army wife. There's blogs about that, so that might be an angle as well. Maybe some of that would spark something there for you. But I think everybody can ask them that question. Is somebody had posted a message, what do I do? I'm just an average stay-at-home mom. And I said, no, there's no such thing as an average stay-at-home mom. So, change your thinking.
Hear that.
That does not exist. So,
Okay. Thank you.
no problem.
Yes, I usually get even nervous as the stay-at-home mom that still works this business, and I'm like, oh my gosh, what am I going to show them today?
Yeah, there's a
all right,
giant
Kat.
everywhere. So,
All right.
Who's next?
Yes. We have got Catherine on, and she is one of my girls who, she actually had quit this business once before and got restarted, so she's got a lot of wisdom under her belt, and she's a rock star.
Hello. I'm so nervous right now.
And who's that little guy?
He's Xander. He's 5 months old.
Is he sleeping?
Yeah, he's sleeping.
Okay, I'll try not to wake him up.
No, I got headphones in.
Thank you. Bye,
Okay, so my question is, I'm kind of like, in my shell, I'm very shy and kind of socially anxious sometimes, and not good in like new situations and meeting people. So my question is, how do you seem so at ease around strangers? Like, what would be your advice to meeting new people, and how do you spark a conversation with just strangers and build a relationship with people that you're not necessarily comfortable with?
Okay, so I'm going to try something here really quick. Hold on.
Mm-hmm.
This will be worth it.
Yeah.
Just give me 1 second. I'm going to try something. I'm inciting an adventure here in my phone. I'm just going to give it 1 second. We'll see if this will work. Hold on. Okay, it's working. Hold on. Hey, come here. You're not on Periscope. Well, yeah, you might be on Periscope a little bit. Just 1 quick second. Please.
Yeah.
We're going to Google Hangout. Okay. This is Kimberly, my wife.
Hi.
And there's Pepe.
Hi.
Okay. I was ask the question again.
Okay. So my question is about being afraid to, make connections with strangers, because I'm very shy, and so sometimes I talk myself out of, sparking a connection with somebody just because I'm afraid of what they might say, or I'm afraid that I won't know what to say.
Okay, and you said that because I do it so easy, right?
Yes.
Okay. Now, the reason that I had to get her here is I am extremely shy. True or false?
When it comes to smaller
Talking to people one-on-one.
groups. Yeah.
Okay, so I just need to verify that
I
because
don't believe that.
don't believe me that I am like, if it's like, hey, order pizza, I'm like, I don't want to call it. I don't want to call the guy. I don't want to talk to somebody on the phone. Or I'm like, hey, what time do they close? And she'd be like, I don't know. She would say, just go ask them. And I would go, I don't want to. Can you go ask the guy? I don't want to have to talk to him. Or, hey, can you ask? I never want, because I am like extremely shy. Now I'm okay with like big groups or stuff like that. But even like calling on the phone or being on like this, normally it's like, oh, it's so like makes me nervous. So I just want to let you know that it's not easy for me. Okay?
So how do you make everybody feel like your best friend?
Okay, so one of the things. What's that?
Because he is our best friend.
So here's what I would say. It occurred to me, it's probably a couple years ago, 2-3 years ago. I realized that I would go into a room and I would talk myself out of things. I'd already make judgments for the other person about myself. And so I would go into a room and I would go sit at a table with somebody that I knew. And then it occurred to me, people might think that I'm a snob. And that I think I'm better when I'm just being shy. And I was more scared of that somebody might think that I don't think they're important or have value, that I had to put that in front of me. If I really cared about people, it was time for me. So I had to play tricks in my mind sometimes. I had to talk myself into it. One of my favorite things one of the favorite dinners I ever had is I had to meet some of the top guys at Pixar for a dinner. And I'm going to walk in, and some of these guys have they've all won Oscars. So I'm going to have dinner with them. And it's like, that can be a little intimidating. So we're at this really, really nice place, and these are like some of the smartest, most talented guys. And I walk in, and I sit down, and they're introducing me. And, there can be that awkward silence. And so what I said is, hey, guys, zombie apocalypse. What are your first 3 moves? How are we going to work this out? And we just had the most amazing 3-hour conversation that I've ever had. It was all these creative, talented guys, and they're arguing with each other like, no, you don't want to be walled up in a castle. Of course zombies could go underwater. You don't want to be on an island. They can come get you. Like, it was great, but I had to have in my mind, I need a starter question. I need some things, because otherwise I'm going to sit there, talk to 2 people, and I'm going to leave, and I'm going to miss the opportunity of becoming friends with some people. So I just started to realize, like, it was more of the fear of what that they think I'm not important. And so I think that was part of it. I know that also when I go into a room, I know that my natural tendency is to go sit in the corner and not to talk to anybody. So what I have to do is I have to go in. This happened to me last week. I was down in Bradenton, and there was a dinner with a bunch of pastors. And I walked in, and I made sure, my natural tendency is I'm going to go right to my seat. But instead of going right to my seat, what I did was I went and I made sure that I went around the table, shook everybody's hand, and said hello. And it was scary at first, but after about 2 or 3, I said, hey, how you doing? How you doing? And I made sure that I acknowledged and looked everybody in the eye before I sat down. And that just became a rule for me now, that I don't walk into a room without looking everybody in the eye and introducing myself if I don't know them before I sit down. So maybe that helps a little bit, just to let you know, like, I'm the same. Now it's easier now, but I had to have some starter questions, and I put rules on myself, like saying yes to adventure. That was because I find myself that people would say, hey, let's all go out for Wayne's or something. I'm like, no, I'd rather stay here in my library with my books and computers. I don't want to go out. But these aren't people. These are things. So I'm always going to say yes to adventure. So I had to do those kind of things there. So, yeah. So.
Wow. My mind is blown.
I just want to,
You want another baby? You want another baby?
Go camping.
No.
Thank you. Aww. That's awesome.
Yeah, Emerson's still 5, and she still
I
does
still
that.
cuddle, yeah.
She-
My last one.
So yeah, that's what you thought the last time.
Thank you for coming in and seeing us too. It must be an adventure every day.
Well, it's fun. It's fun. We had a good time.
Yeah, it is.
You guys.
I like some of the periscopes that they do when they put you on the spot there, staring in the car.
I'm not like a big on camera kind of person, so I'm like,
She's a photographer.
I'll
So.
be behind the camera, but oh, look at this sleepy baby. Oh.
Corinne is too. Wait, Corinne's an amazing photographer. Don't let her get out of this.
Yep, I had my own photography business for a good 5-6 years, and when I started this totally surpassed what I was able to do in my business.
That's great.
Yeah, but I still love it. I love that it's given me the freedom to do it as a hobby now, not because I have to do it.
That's great.
So
That's awesome. That's really
yeah. Jess. Okay, we got our girls who are on with us got their questions in. Now Yhennifer's got a question.
Hi. All right, so I'm Yhennifer. My question for you is, how do you have enough time to be on all these social medias and, do these trainings where it works and, interact with us, with your people? Like, how do you do it?
Good question.
Well, the answer is there's actually John-Erik is actually there's one John and one Eric, and we're twins.
I know. So how?
I'm just kidding. I was gonna start that rumor because I'm like, yeah, there's 2 of us. One goes to one thing, and the other goes to the other thing, and we switch back and forth.
For real.
There's gotta be.
So let's see. Well, part of it is I've always been kind of a hacker, and so I'm always looking for little tips and tricks, and that's kind of what I do on the 100-day adventure, as well as on top of that, I'm going to start doing these periscopes. I'll give you guys a little inside info. I'll give you guys a little bit of inside info that nobody will find out till tomorrow night. I'm going to do from tomorrow night till Labor Day is 100 days. And so I'm going to do 100 days of summer. And every day I'm going to, on top of the 100-day social media adventure, I'm going to do a periscope of a social media hack that I use that helps me with exactly what you just talked about. I set up my Twitter list like this, or I'll show you on paper, like here's the order in which I do things. I'll do this, like there's a checklist that I have that I'll go through, or what tools or tricks that I use. And so I'm going to do that on Periscope, and then they'll be available for 24 hours, and then the people that are part of the 100-day adventure, that ongoing community, those will all be indexed and put in adventure support for people. So those are just some of the things that I'll show you, ways that it helps me, like the idea of, I manage everything from an iPad, and so using a Bluetooth keyboard allows me to type really fast on Instagram things. And I also think I'm going to do a post about this, because probably one of the biggest things that I deal with is, so probably in just through even my venture capital company and some projects, there's probably been $250,000 run through this iPad in the last couple months.
Wow.
So, and my phone. So is maybe $300,000 worth paying $300 for an upgrade? I hear everybody complain all the time. The number one tool in your business is your phone, and everybody has a janky phone with no memory, and they complain about everything.
No data.
And it's like, I don't have data, I don't have this, I can't do that. Stop complaining and get the tool that is going to affect your business. Or don't complain to me. What's that?
I said, did you hear that, Brian, to my husband? He's like, you don't need a phone with extra storage. Why?
Sorry, bro.
I'm like, I swear. Like, just
Well, you
take off all the
You
photos.
you
No.
don't for extra storage because you should learn how to back all your stuff up, but I won't get into that.
Ooh.
Okay. Back to my question. Because I feel the reason why I asked that is because I feel like I'm going crazy and I only have Instagram and Facebook and I just started Twitter. And now with Periscope, it's like, oh my God, I have no life.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean,
It's not no life, but it is.
No, it takes a big chunk of my day, and I have 3 kids. I'm a single mom, so I try to do as much as I can. And then when I get to Instagram and I got like 10 missed messages, and I'm like, oh my God. So I'm like, how do you do it? So I mean, I'm glad that you're gonna do.
Yeah, I'm gonna really give everybody an inside look over the summer.
Yeah,
what happens is during the summer, everybody kind of is like, oh, it's summer, let's take a break, and I'm like, no.
Right.
This is the time because culturally, the United States, the first of the year isn't January 1st. The first of the year is the weekend after the kids go back to school. So the momentum you create over the summer, so that means that in 100 days, 100 days from tomorrow night is when basically that is when the shopping season, that's when everything just really starts to blow up. So the people that took a bunch of time off, they'll naturally do really well come September, but the people that put that effort in over those 100 days, their business will explode in the fall. So, so that's why I'm going to actually do more. So I'm going to be putting on the 100-day Facebook page, we're actually going to put a business tip every single day. And then I'm going to be doing a Periscope every day, and that Periscope is going to be an inside look into my day, my routines, because I don't have a schedule, but I have rhythms. And what you have to find for you, especially as a single mom with 3 kids, is you got to find your rhythm of what works. And so for me, I'm not on Facebook all day. I'm on it at certain rhythms. I'm on Instagram at certain times.
Okay. Sounds good. I'm looking forward to that.
And not everybody's created equal. So I'm not going to, because if Emerson needed something right now, I'd have to say, hey guys, I gotta go. But if somebody else was messaging me, I'd go, hey, just hold on, because I'm with them. So, it just is a matter of the way I set up Facebook, even with lists. I make sure I don't miss anything from people that I'm really close to. I run Twitter lists of people that I really have close personal relationships with. If they use the word praying for, in the hospital, unhappy face, having a bad day, it flags my Twitter account, and I make sure that I get notifications when my friends are using words that are associated with trouble. So how am I always there? I'm not always there. I have set up hacks to be able to do all of that. The 100-day adventure was just to try to get everybody the basics. But I'm going to show some inside looks on that over the summer. So I did write down here that I should probably maybe post some things about my rhythm and post some things on my calendar, and that might be a little bit helpful for you guys on how I do it.
Well, now we're really looking forward to our next
summer.
adventure. Yeah, our summer and everything that you have to bring.
That's coming out. So that's just a little tease. But stay tuned tomorrow night. I'll let everybody know.
I love it. That's awesome. Thank you.
We are so grateful for this. And my hubby was typing me something on Periscope. I told him you better hurry up and text it to me that I can see it again. He had one question.
Where is he at?
I know. I told him to get on the live thing, and he didn't.
Well, you know what? If he doesn't get to ask this question, the next time you say get on the live thing, he'll get on the live thing.
Yes. Well, I did
you're
have to hand it to him. He's
He
at
set it
home
up,
with the kids.
right?
Yeah.
Then that's a good reason.
Yes. Okay. So here's his question. What can we do to bring value to our followers other than sharing our adventure? Like, how do you bring value by sharing social media hacks and advice?
Oh, you mean, well, but, so your followers, it depends. Everybody's different. I don't know what your followers are, but like for me, helping you by giving you tools, that's how I'm giving value to you. But like, okay, so I have this guy that helps, because if it doesn't have a USB attached to it, I'm not really good with it. So I'll end up cutting off some fingers if I have to do something around the house sometimes. So sometimes I get a guy that like, okay, hey, I don't want you to just do it. Like I want you to do it, but show me how to do it because I want to learn. But I was just talking to him, and he's like this handyman. He has this handyman business. He does just okay. But what I told him is, you know what you need to be doing? You need to make sure that, like, are we taking a selfie right now, or what are you doing?
I'm sorry, my camera, my back camera is not working. So when I Periscope, I gotta turn the phone.
Okay.
I dropped my phone, and now I need to invest in a new one, like you said.
So what I told him is, I said,
sorry.
Why are you just, for example, why are you just like, if I have something, I'm gonna call you. Why aren't you emailing me like, hey, here's some of the maintenance routines you should do around your house? Or, hey, here's some ways that you can save on your energy bill. If he gives away that information. So, again, let's go to photography because you know photography. Kim does a lot of family, more of the, it's not like sit-down portraits, but it's more the candids. And what I told her is, hey, if you want to grow your business, you know what you need to do is, like, teach people how, like, hey, if you have an iPhone, here's how to take a picture better. And now one would think, well, if you're teaching them how to take pictures of their iPhone, they're not going to hire you. The fact is that's not true. What actually is true is they're still going to want the photographer, and they're going to think of you, and they're going to then have that value where they're going to say, wait, she's throughout the year giving me tips and advice on how to back up my photos, how to take things with iPhones, what are great Christmas gifts using stuff. So she's putting value into them. Then when she asks them, hey, I'm taking portraits, please tell your friends, they're going to think, oh, well, she's given us all year. And that is, I think, part of that idea. So maybe to ask Brian's question, aren't you impressed? I know your husband's name.
Yeah.
The answer to his question is, I think what you're doing is you're just trying to think, what are ways that I can bring value about health, value about freedom, about money, about family. One of the things that's going to happen over our 100 days of adventure over the summer is just things about our family. We're thinking about having Peyton create a Facebook page for other teenage girls from different distributors that they can get on, and Peyton can talk to them and show them what we do as a family. So we're trying to think of what are ways that we can, that not just me, but our family can add value to everybody else's family over the summer.
Can she show me how to make my hair look as fabulous as hers?
I have no idea how that even. She does have great hair. Although, I don't know. There's always like combing it. There's always like a mom-daughter going on around it. Hey, is Peyton there?
Yeah.
We have a hair question. Okay, any more questions? I got probably just a few more minutes. How is your hair so fabulous?
Chief adventure.
That's a serious question.
What do you do?
Actually, I have a question for her.
I washed it.
Hey, does anybody have sit down. Does anybody have a question for Pepe?
Me.
Yeah.
I would love to get your perspective on having a dad as cool as yours. Someone who is always talking about adventure and wants to get out there and experience things in life. I know you know no different, but what is it like for you?
Tell them what it's like living in the tower. What is it like up in that tower? Does it get cold at night way up in the tower? Do the crocodiles keep you awake in the moat?
We don't have a tower.
We're going to get a tower. I'm sorry. Answer your question.
Well, I mean, it's cool.
You just admitted your dad was cool on the internet. That's the most uncool thing that could ever happen. Emerson! It's 11:40 and you're up. This is my
I was going to say, I think it's kind of cool that your kids are up, and you've set such an example for us out here who think, like, you know, the 9 to 5, and then we might think we're kind of feeling guilty that we're not the structured 9 to 5ers. I know I went through such a period of that, feeling guilty that, you know, oh, your kid goes to bed at 7:30, mine's up till 9:30, then I love it. You're really such a great influence for us.
I'm such a great influence. My 5-year-old is, what underwear you got on there?
Aww. But you see, that's the thing, you're living life.
What do you want to tell everybody?
That your adventure
Okay. Were you going to get a drink?
That's what it is.
Yeah.
They're all your fans. They all like you a lot. Do you like that?
Number one fan.
We do.
Okay.
Coming and saying hi to us.
Hey, let's go make popcorn. Go make popcorn.
Ooh, good idea.
Okay.
Yep.
Last question.
Ooh. What's it going to be, guys? What's it going to be? With how shy you are, I know you've kind of answered this, but do you get nervous jumping on a Periscope, and maybe, you know, the incidentals that might happen while you're on a Periscope because it's live broadcast?
Okay, so I have been, let's get Kim for this again. Oh, Kimberly, are you there? I think she's way in the other part of the house at this point. Kim, oh, she's coming.
I mean, because this is like real time, it's real life. You're out there with an adventure with your kids, and then they're...
How we met. Ask Kim how
you said
Fair. There's another question, and they won't... Where did you meet your first time?
In high school.
What grade?
I was in 9th, you were in 10th.
But what was the first thing that you saw me?
Oh, he did like a orientation video for school. Like, he was the, how do you put it?
Well, I always thought the school rules were always really dumb and boring. Everybody hated it. Yeah. So my dad bought me a video camera, and I told the school, hey, why don't I go and do videos that are funny about the rules at school. And so I would do them a little bit over the summer with my friends, and then we would do like a talk show instead of the teachers getting out there. So part of that, what I wanted to say is, like, since 10th grade, 9th grade is when we met, I've been making stupid videos and stuff. So, like, actually,
I wish we had some of those.
they're all I saw them, they're all
they are not.
Yeah, it's horrible.
Editing with 2 VCRs, the whole, yeah.
Yeah, so so now it's probably, I mean, I've been doing that for a long time, so I'm really familiar. Like, I know how to do all that editing. I actually taught Jeremiah how to do editing and how to use some of the camera stuff, and just kind of invested. In fact, I was, in fact, some of the guys that work with me were my high school students, because I became a headmaster, and so it's kind of ironic that the guy with learning disabilities ended up running a school for a while, and a lot of them now work with me on projects. And so, to answer that question, I'm very familiar with how video and audio and technology and all of that work. I also did, I'm very, I think, like, with improv and acting, I did a lot of that stuff, so I'm familiar with that. I don't get nervous in front of larger amounts of people, and I think I might overthink. Are you getting baby fever watching?
No, I'm so cute.
Aww.
No, I'm not getting baby fever. No.
Hey, we gotta cut this short. She's getting baby fever.
You would if you held that.
I can't. It's echoey. So to answer your question, some of it is I think you just have to get your reps in. I've just been doing it for a long time, so I'm familiar with it. And sometimes like making a video, I would overthink it, but with Periscope, it's like, hey, I'm going to go live, and if it's a disaster, I can always just end the replay, early, or worst case, it's out for 24 hours.
I have done without.
So, what's that?
Oh, I have done that once, actually.
No, I've deleted a couple of replays. I thought, oh, that was a train wreck. That didn't work at all. But you have to realize I also started a lot in Silicon Valley where we were inventing things that didn't exist. So we would just fail every day. Like nobody could play video games with each other over the internet. So we would try stuff, it wouldn't work. Every day we failed constantly. So we just got over, I think becoming immune to failure is just a really important idea. Going and asking somebody is not for something, whether they say yes or no is irrelevant, whether they say yes or no. What's important is that you did it. You doing it is the win. If your happiness depends on their answer, then you've lost. It's about you saying yes to yourself to walk across the room. That's probably a good one to end on, I think.
Yeah. Well, it can give a little bit of anxiety to jump on a live Periscope, especially like an adventure with your kids and that sort of thing. And I think because maybe I do overthink it. I have two boys who they like brothers. They like to fight they argue. And then my younger son, of course, has Down syndrome. And, maybe I'm a little protective. I don't want people to judge if, something's not what they seem.
No, I already was thinking about, I think I already know what my next Periscope confession is going to be. Yeah. No, it's going to be about, that I yell at my kids sometimes. Because people are like, I'm like, I will yell at my kids, and so I'm going to do a confession about, what irritates me about them and what makes me so angry sometimes. But I think that, we talked about, our house isn't clean. There's my pile of T-shirts that I haven't cleaned up. And it's and people go, thank God, and they message you. It's like, you know what? That your boys fight, nobody's surprised. Yeah. The only thing they're going to be surprised is that you were honest enough to say it, and you're going to have a bunch of people thank you for it.
That is so true, though. I got to get over myself, as Pam will say.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, is that pride? I know for me it is. For me it is. I don't want to look. I had to get over. I'll leave you with this one thought. The number one thing that people say that they love about the videos is the beginnings where we mess up and joke around. That was actually a gigantic mistake, and it was never supposed to happen. I told the guys to put something in the beginning, but now that you know that I was a lot of their teachers and I played jokes on them constantly, they thought it was funny to take my bloopers and put it at the beginning of the videos. So when I sent it to Mark, I said, hey, send that link to Mark and everybody. They put all my bloopers at the front. So I was like, okay, that's hilarious, but and it was Saturday morning, and I was about to speak, and I was like, yeah, but it's not going live till Monday, so I'll just swap it out later. So I walk in, and Mark and Mike and Chris Burns are laughing, and I'm like, what are you laughing at? Like, all that stuff in the beginning, that's hilarious. I'm like, yeah, don't worry, we're going to take that stuff out, and all the mistakes throughout where, they left them in and emphasize them, we'll take that out. And they go, well, what do you mean? We already uploaded it because it's going live in an hour. And I was like, what? And they're like, yeah, it's awesome, leave it in. I was bummed out. I was a little upset. I was like, what? We're not doing that. I look like an idiot. They're not seriously. And then a bunch of people bought the 100-Day Adventure, and the messages I got was like, hey, thank you for being real. And for me, I think there was part of me that was healed through that whole process to realize I'm allowed to be myself, and I don't have to pretend to be somebody else. And it all happened because we uploaded my mistakes. And it turns out that it's easier to learn from somebody who you know, people say, "Oh, you're a genius," and I say, "I'm not a genius. I'm just curious, and I don't mind looking silly." So that's all that is. So I think a lot of people would be a lot smarter if they would just not be afraid to be silly.
Wow. Yeah, that's awesome. I needed to hear that. That was perfect. The perfect way to end this tonight.
Okay.
Gosh, John-Erik, thank you so much. We can't even tell you how grateful we are. Like, even from the beginning, you know, conference, when you were introduced, man, we were all sitting there in the biggest goosebumps, in the biggest aha moments. And when we got on our team page, we're like, what was your favorite part about conference? Yeah. Everybody was just raving about your message.
Yes.
Thank you.
That is so true.
I didn't really know that I was speaking. I thought I had to do a panel. Mark was like, "Oh, we'll probably talk about social media." I was like, "Okay, yeah, you guys should do that." Like, "Oh, you should be like, we might do a panel and talk about it." I was like, "Yeah, okay, I'll be on it." And then I got there like 3 or 4 days before, and I looked at the notes and it said keynote John-Erik, and I was like, "What?" Like, yeah, you're doing like a whole talk, like 5-10 minutes. No, you're doing a big talk. Okay.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
That's awesome because it really didn't give you too much time to plan, and so what you gave us was.
I wouldn't have planned it anyway.
I know. Well,
let's be honest.
Yeah, we don't really plan our stuff either because I think it's great when we just kind of grab a topic and go with it. So instead of planning.
My mind does not work that way. So it would be horrible if I did it as an outline. So the popcorn's ready.
Awesome. Enjoy your popcorn. Thank you so much.
Thank
Love you guys.
Bye.